Hi everyone, I want to do a little bit of an introduction to resistance bands for people that haven't used them before because I think it's worth being aware of some of the things you need to think about when you're setting up and where you're doing your workout, and also a little bit about when you're using them, what to expect. So resistance bands normally come, if you went for the set that I advised, it'll be the same set that I've got, and it will come with an attachment strap with an anchor point. And what you use this for is you use it for trapping it in a door so you can pull against the door. Now ideally you want to be using a door that opens in the opposite direction to which you're going to be pulling. So in my case, ideally this door would be opening that way. Unfortunately, I don't have space to be able to use the resistance bands on the other side of the door, so I'm going to use it coming inwards. What I am going to suggest is, if you, like me, don't have space behind a door that opens in the opposite way to that you'll be pulling, use a door stop. So get something nice and heavy against the very bottom of the door, so if it does for any reason pop open, you are protected from the door hitting you in the back of the head. So that is the first thing to be aware of. Anchor point, utilising it ideally in a door that opens in the opposite way to which you'll be pulling. You then get a set of resistance tubes and some handles. You should also get some Velcro straps that go around your ankles and attach to the resistance bands through the little clasps at the end, and we're not going to use those for a bit, but we will be using those later in the workouts. So to utilise these, there's a number of ways we can do it. First, and my favourite one, is use the anchor point, pop it in the door, make sure your door has clicked into place and it's nice and firmly shut, and then give it a pull so the anchor point is resting right against the door. Otherwise, when you pull it when you're doing the exercise, it may well adjust, and it always scares the life out of me when it does so. So the tips for using these bands is that when you are using them, there's some really simple ways of making the movements easier or harder, and you can make them harder by stepping further away from where the band is anchored, or by using a heavier resistance band, or by adding another light one if you're not confident to go up a level. So that's the first thing to be aware of. Second thing to be aware of is when you are moving with the bands, they are effectively giant elastic bands, and you're going to pull against them and they're going to lengthen. Now, as they return to their original length, like an elastic band, they're going to want to return pretty quickly. So regardless of the movement you're doing, as you're returning back to the start position, what you're going to find is it's really going to pull against you. So it's really important that that you control that movement back. So if I can just move my camera, I will give you a bit of an example. Apologies for the glare coming from the window. I have a very dubious camera setup here. So I'm going to show you what I mean in a chest press. So standing up, pushing the bands straight ahead of you. As you return back to the original starting position, this band is fighting to pull me back. So what I'm having to do is really control that back movement so you're not having it tugging against your joints and potentially causing an injury. So be aware of that as well. So that's the second thing to be aware of. This anchor point can be used at shoulder or chest level, and we'll do a lot of work where that's the point that we attach it to the door. You can put it in the top of the door, you can put it in the bottom of the door, and we will utilise those as well. But if you're having a general play, be aware that there are 3 potential areas, as well as moving it up and down the door, that's going to give you different directions of pull, and potentially give you loads of different exercises that you can use. Now, for anyone that doesn't have these particular bands, but they have a loop band, which is effectively just like a giant elastic band, you can do the same thing. You can anchor it in a door, but what I'd recommend is that you get something like a pencil and you put it through and you shut it in the door, and you do the same thing and pull it. That pencil is going to stop it popping through the door and is going to give you a nice anchor point. So yeah, that's another way of being able to use it. So for now, that is all I wanted to share with you. It's all about getting your bands set up, getting comfortable with them In all of the at-home workouts I do, I'm going to demo the exercises at the very beginning so you can give them a try before we pile into the workout, because generally the workout's going to stay quite brisk. We want to keep the intensity up, and it's really important that you're confident with the movements before you get started. So I'll demo everything at the beginning, then you can go get warmed up, which will be done in a separate video, and then we will get cracking with the workout. So anyway, hope that is helpful, and I look forward to seeing you at the first at-home workout.